Hi guys, Tuhon Bill McGrath here. Today we're going to work on the first 4 strikes from the 5 attack subsystem, the fluid versions. So the forward versions of 1, 2, 3, and 4 diagonal strikes, we're going to start with a stance that has the feet parallel to one another, about shoulder width apart, and they are diagonally facing the target. So if where the camera is my opponent, my feet are going to be lined up this way, the knees are bent. You're first going to practice these strikes with no footwork. That forces you to use your upper body with more flexibility, and then we'll add footwork to that. So we're going to start with a stick measured for the Pekiti Tirsia system, which is armpit out to fingertip, and the diameter should be so that these 2 fingers touch your palm, but the ring finger does not, and one hand width from the bottom. Have your left hand into your solar plexus or xiphoid process area, and you're going to strike on the diagonal line 1 and 2, 3 and 4, or as we would say, forehand down, backhand down, forehand uppercut, backhand uppercut. As you do these, I would like you to work on the elbow preceding the motion, then the pommel, then the tip of the stick. So you have different body parts in your visual field kind of pointing at the target before you deliver the tip of the stick. The strikes on these are delivered either with the last 1/4 inch, if you're going after a small mobile bone like something in the hand, or about 1 hand length from the tip of the stick if you're trying to crush something like a head. So strike 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you do this, you notice my body's turning. So I'm facing the camera, my chest is flat to the camera when I'm chambered for the 1, and I deliver that with my body turned. My body is turned when I'm chambered for a 2, and then it comes in flat after delivery. 3 is into the forehand, chest is facing you. 4 is a backhand, chest is to the side. As you do these things, one of the things I want you to keep in mind are try to stay in contact with trapezius as long as possible, and then deliver the tip of the stick and follow through on the 1 and 2. So the stick does not really ride above your head. If you notice, it's really not coming too far above my eyebrows even. That gives you a very efficient strike. If you look, I'll face this way, look from the side, the feeling should be like you're hammering a nail into a wall and not have the nail get knocked off the wall but get driven directly into the wall. That gives you a very efficient strike and keeps the stick between you and your opponent a larger percentage or a higher percentage of the time of the strike. A true circle, gets your stick out of range of your opponent, and it's not quite as efficient a motion as this elliptical motion of the stick. So it gives you less time between strikes. You're hitting the target faster with an elliptical strike. On 3 and 4, I want you to think more kind of the body mechanics of a boxer's uppercut. You're going to dig down for that and then lift up. This one you are allowed to go and follow through high in the air to give you a good follow through. Later on, you'll see a strike, especially if we have a sword and we're cutting, slicing, a draw cut, we'll pull in and then back. But for beginners, I really want them to do a full motion cut so they don't lose power. And again, get some body part or another part of the stick in your visual field, in this case the pommel, and then follow that line as you go in. So if we're facing the camera, notice on 3, I define the line with the pommel of my stick in the visual field, and then I uppercut from there. And it's just one fluid motion. What I don't want to see is people hitting and then pulling back over their head. That's easy to do with a lightweight rattan. It's very difficult to do with a heavy fighting weight hardwood stick or a sword especially. So try to get in good habits now. On the backhand side, you define the angle with the pommel coming into a visual field. I'm actually using it as a front sight to a certain extent to my target, and then that line defines the rest of the cut. So watch again 3 and 4. 3, get down to get your uppercut, and you're pushing with the legs upward, and then turn. Same thing on 4. So I dip down a little bit and uppercut. That pommel goes through the target area, and then the stick, the rest of the stick. Notice my shoulder, once I reach the end of my shoulder, that's when the time the stick should flip over. I don't want to flip that prematurely in the middle of the cut, because it's very easy to disarm yourself, especially in the backhand. If you meet an obstacle, then get popped right out of your grip. Where if you hit the target, which you should, or if you get contact unexpectedly, which is another danger, you don't want to wind up getting disarmed. So strike with the stick where the cutting edge of the sword would be, and wait until the end of the motion before you turn the weapon over, and that'll help prevent disarming yourself on impact. So strike, reach the end of the motion, kind of you're doing a pec deck in here, you get the end of that motion, then the weapon flows naturally and maintains its momentum in the recovery. So let's see 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's your forward fluid strikes.